We're live with nobody. If we talk, maybe people will come in. Try this again. Try this again, everybody. I'll just wait here. Talk about what we put here for us to talk about. Bulatale. Okay, there we go. Hey, what's up? What's up? Yeah, I don't know why the connection is so bad. We are inside today because we got work going on over here, and there's brush cutters and generators. Just stay in Tonga, man. Huh? Talofa. I don't know. I don't know, actually. We shouldn't do that. That's culture appropriation. Uso, what's up, man? Yeah, sorry about that, guys. For anybody who's on, John, is your Wi-Fi even on? Still chopping, but better. Oh, what the heck? So, okay. I don't know if you guys can hear me right now, but usually my laptop's on the Wi-Fi, like serving Escangona and playing COD on the Wi-Fi. And none of that is happening today, and the connection is worse. So I think Corona needs to start playing 4K in the background so that we really make the system sweat. It doesn't like just jogging around. Can you guys hear me? Can anybody hear me out there? Guys, this is the joys of doing something live, you know? What I'll do while we're waiting for people to come in is from Instagram. Let's hang. So it's me, Alfred said, let's hang out. Huh? And it's very choppy. We can hear you. Okay. Not connected again. And we're back. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to. I don't want to waste a bunch of content. And if you guys aren't hearing me, because we have some fun things to talk about today. I'm not wireless. Oh, so humble. Yes, the connection is better. Okay. All right. I thought your phone wanted to sleep. You know what? I'm actually running iPhone 10s, which is from 2017 or 2018. And you know, it's about time for a new phone. It's about time for a new phone. I'll say that. What do you guys like better? Do you guys like the inside set or the outside set? I think I prefer the outside set myself, but a lot younger. Much better, much better. Okay, that's great. That's great. So yeah, it's me, Alfred said on our Instagram, let's hang out. And then he put a laughing face. So one day, maybe, Alfred, one day. Tailor business in Fiji. Yeah, like it is. I can make it brighter. You guys want to see it brighter? Jeez, too bright. Whoa. We like Facebook Live better. Yeah, me too. Not. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. Seti, you shut up. Shut up, Dewey. Come back from Tonga. Do your job, man. Actually, Dewey's been doing. Whichever has better connection. Yeah, I agree. with a tailoring. So Mano Yoga Bro said asked about a tailoring business in Fiji. Like anything, I think marketed properly, you could definitely start a good tailoring business. I think there are are well known. Like everybody kind of has their tailor, but nobody is known for like a style. At least not around here. Maybe in Suva. Lots of like yeah, you can market it though. I don't see any tailors on social media or anything like showing like the clothes that they made and stuff. I know there's a lady that's tailoring for like all the women in the seventh day across our whole island because they can't find anybody good. And so it's like, there are people who are really, really good, but just you kind of got to know somebody who knows them. Other than that, like, um, you don't, you're not going to be able to see them. Don't twist his need him. Yes. Dear. Starlink. Yeah. So I was actually, I ran out of space and time to look into the Starlink stuff when I was in Canada. So not have to wait till next time. I have signed up for Starlink in Fiji, and it is registered to be so I'm excited for Starlink. I was on Starlink for a couple of weeks at my in-laws' place on the river, and it worked awesome. So it's really weird. You can be in the middle of nowhere and have like full like high speed internet. So because you want to just close those windows, and we'll see. Um, we're going full on. Actually, one of my uncles passed away the other day, and so there's a lot of people in the village cutting grass and digging holes for the post for the sheds. So we're building a big shed down at one of my grandfather's house. So he was Asiasa. He was actually got his leg amputated. I think a couple of weeks ago. Diabetes probably, and then I think and then on Wednesday, sorry, it was from in infection or what? Um, yeah, so Starlink does work really well. Yes, it does. It does. So, not a question, sir, but I just feel that I admire your work and the type of mentality you have. Wow, thank you. It's interesting. I was listening to something today, and which village you streaming from, John? Oh, Nesaruengi. Nesaruengi. um, yeah, Deborah, I'm gonna get to your question right away here. Um, thank you. One thing that life is kind of like it goes in cycles, right? And you guys see the wall behind me. This is just weatherboard that's been painted. No double walls in this house. Not fancy. But we're happy, and money so we can create more influence and do positive things with influence and create jobs and stuff like that. And I expect that, you know, maybe we'll have just as many comments like this admiring your work and the mentality, but I think there's also going to be a lot of people that were excited for us, that you know you kind of fulfill your dreams and you kind of make it. That people start, getting upset with you. They just don't connect with you anymore because the further reason is because you know they actually gave up on theirs. So I enjoy it right now, and I just think I just am thankful for every day, and I'm thankful for the 20 people that are on here. Well, everybody, and like if this goes well, like this is a $1 billion business in the next 10 years, and we can still be doing this with you guys, So that's a hope. I don't want to we have big dreams. I just hope that everybody here is, along for the, once we make it. Because, and that, you guys are all still a scheme thingy that's been going around. Is it a scam or not? So, how does this eBay scheme thing work? That's what I want to know. I've heard lots of people, and I want to know exactly. Can somebody tell me exactly what the eBay scam thing is about? How does it work? Guys, also, I share the house with a bunch of people, so this is live. Got my auntie yelling in the background. It's all good. eBay scam Fiji. Yeah, while we're on recruitment scam. Okay, so this is okay. So we're gonna read something. This is from FBC. Sorry, guys. Okay, a public alert is once again being issued about a group of individuals running a deceptive pyramid scheme known as eBay Shop Online Recruitment. The Consumer Council of Fiji has received numerous queries from the public regarding the authenticity of this recruitment, prompting an extensive investigation. The council says the recruitment scheme operates by luring unsuspecting individuals through referrals to download the messaging app Telegram for communication purposes. Upon joining boy, this sangani is crippling my tongue, man. Upon joining, participants receive a link to a website created by its operators of the scheme. The website offers an enticing free trial where users are presented with 5 online orders to process by clicking confirm order. The council says, sorry guys, I'm reading this because I want to be educated about it. So they say the participants are promised a payment of $1 per order, meaning they will receive a total of $5 during the free trial period. However, when they attempt to withdraw their earnings, they discover that a minimum withdrawal amount is set at $6, leaving them, the buying option from a few $100s to upwards of $1,000. The scammers have gone to extreme measures, including printing shirts and signage, which are displayed on their Facebook page by their marketing manager, Jack Daniels. Well, guys, there you go. And that would be the person who manages it. His name, Jack Daniels. Because Jack Daniels is a very famous whiskey overseas, very famous rum. So that would be like the name being John Smith or Joe Blow. I wasn't talking now. So here we go. Yeah, so I mean, this is what we were kind of talking about the other day. I think in relation to scams and pyramid schemes is that like anybody who promises you money, and the free thing is kind of like so that's a technique that people use in marketing is like I give you something for free, you automatically feel like you have an affinity for me. Like it's a subconscious thing where like I feel like I owe you. You did me a huge favor. You gave me something for free. Therefore, I will buy it because you put out your hand first and you helped, and then it's a lot easier to get people to coerce them or trick them into the scheme. And anything that promises a return is going to be a scam. You can show people proof of what returns are typically that you're going to offer to these investors, I guess, basically. But like to promise them that like it's 100% guarantee, that is also is a sign that it's a scam. Um, yeah, that's about all I have to say on that. Understanding it is that it is similar to the triangle gifting, where you look for recruiters and recruit them, and when you recruit them, they invest. Oh, so yeah, like pyramid schemes, triangle schemes. Um, they must have come up with a scam while drinking Jack Daniels. you know, college graduates sitting on a tailgate drinking Jack Daniels. That's exactly what's happening. Well, I just twitching out right now. Yeah. What's going on there? So I'm gonna scroll up here to one of. So it's a scam. Here we go. A question. Okay, somebody else. Example: deposit 160 and do task daily and receive $5 a day for the rest of the year. Yeah. Um, People just don't understand the online world really yet here. Um, and so, people are just taking advantage of people's kind of like amateur knowledge of online scams, I guess. So, it's kind of like, I guess, before like mid 2000s where, all this like, oh my gosh, you have to complete the questionnaire now to claim your iPad. I'd be like, oh shoot, click, try to get the iPad. And there was never an iPad. It never happened. Um, but maybe I'm the only one that did that because, like we say, everyone's ever actually done with this. Um, so going back up to Deborah's question, or is it Deborah William in Fiji? Um, in your opinion, what is the best crop to grow for an upcoming farmer? Really want to know. Um, so what I can do is if you email me at what is the email now? Just wait. Let me go because I have a list of I've and figured out what is the off-season crops and when to plant them and like what sorry and like when different crops are off season and the highest prices for each crop. So if you email me, um, I can actually send you that list so that you can plan. So, for instance, yeah, I don't know. So, for instance, if you wait a second here, guys. Oh, that's for that light. I'm gonna reset this here. So, for instance, if you're planting beans and the beans are going to take 2 months and they are short, there's no season, say in January, I think it is, or like early early in the year, then and you'd be ready for when the season came back. Sorry, guys. Today's just a day full of technical difficulties. Is it in? This thing's on. Look, this one is on from there. Hey, we back. So I'm just guys. You guys gotta have some patience with me today, okay? I'm all by myself over here, and I'm trying to answer your guys' question and give you guys some value here. So give me a break, all right? All right. So this is for Deborah. You had this question. So I expect and put my email here. So email me at advice at wakafarms.com, right? Advice at wakafarms.com, and I'll send you that list. Um, All right. Oh, sorry, Brown. Sorry, that was from Michelle Brown. Yes. Thank you, Deborah, for highlighting that. We're going down the list. I'm having to physically scroll here because usually we should just believe in hard work, never be fooled in such things. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like anybody claiming that there's a shortcut to uh to success. I mean, you got to just assume like anything too good to be true is usually too good to be true. There are no shortcuts. Like I always say, nobody sees the 10 years prior to an overnight success, right? Everybody just, people will just it's like fans, like the Fiji fans, like us with rugby. It's like, what have you done for me lately? And we have very short-term memory. And so, when you see people get really successful, it's like, wow, you know, it's just amazing. Like some of these Bitcoin guys, some of these guys who hit it really big and with some of their, investments that they made. And it's like, yeah, but do you know how much they've lost, how much risk that they've taken? Like it all, it takes a lot of mistakes before before you hit it big. With your walk up, do you ever plan to bring Christian content into your vlogs? Yeah, we do. Like sometimes we do. I do like a little devotional. We just haven't been vlogging a lot lately because we were in Canada and um um Tui's about to start taking care of all the long form stuff. He's about to start taking everything under his wing because we're getting busier and busier, and so you guys can start to expect seeing vlogs every week or a couple times a week at least. And so that will be fun. And yeah, we'll definitely be working some stuff into there. Um, it's the long form stuff is a lot of work to learn, to for Tui to learn the style and learn the program and all that kind of stuff. But we'll get there. But yeah, sometimes I share a little devotional or something like that when I do my vlogs. Um, well, if it was illegal, then why did it get certified by RBF? What is that? The Reserve Bank of Fiji? I know that the CEO of Reserve Bank is on here, so do you want to comment? Yeah, curious. Yeah. Oh, his name is Tui, Tonga Tui. I, but these people must remember that eBay does not need employees from around the world. They are a world famous brand. Why would they need people to invest? And then I think this is like kind of like a newer style of scam coming from the drop shipping industry where you sell a product that you never actually inventory, you never actually have a stock of. You basically just um, you find a product Amazon store, and so basically all you do is that you have an Amazon store where people when they order, the order comes to you, then you order from the factory and you ship direct to their house. Does that make sense? So I see hints of drop shipping kind of in this scam, where people are told that they're going to get money for doing a certain amount of work. So yeah, I mean because people in this eBay shop state that it was certified. Yeah, I mean who knows? Who knows? People say anything that they can to get ahead and to try to trick people. So I was having trouble understanding this article actually. Let's stretch the legs out here. Oh yeah. Did a little leg workout today, and so Toit like a toiga. So government stability leads to first protest in 16 years. So it led to a protest. Um, Again, I think maybe just the English is off. It's more like the government stability has allowed a protest. Maybe I don't know. Maybe leads is the right word, but basically they're saying like with so Croy is my new guy to bounce ideas off of. So like with the last government, people weren't allowed because I thought I heard that. I just never really clued in, which is crazy in in a so-called democracy, right? Where you can't protest. So yeah, that's so true. Hey, so the last like kind of leaders of the last government that got was defeated in the last election, and I don't like everything that they do. You can't make everybody happy, and you can't make me happy all the time. And so I'm a critic um, of the same people that one day I love, and I really respect their decisions. And so the funny thing is that the two leaders who were in the last, like there's pictures of them at the protest, right? So the two guys who didn't allow protests were actually at the protest. It's just really ironic, isn't it? Um, you see Tui's comment there. Um, Reactor and actually the becquerel measurement on the water, which is the radioactivity measurement for a liter of water, is 63. And so World Health Organization has said that you can drink water with a becquerel measurement of 10 called nuclear waste that we've been told 1,000 times cleaner than the worst than your kind of lowest level drinking water. Um, and so it's not actually bad at all. And the first dump that they did was 3,700 cubic meters of water, which is the equivalent of 3 swimming pools, 3 Olympic-sized swimming pools, which is pretty much nothing. That would be like that's the equivalent of peeing into the ocean, basically. I mean, it's nothing, and the water is actually cleaner than most of the water that you can drink. So, um, yeah, the thing for me was that the people who started the rumor about it being really, really toxic for the environment, one who's dumping. China is the one who's starting the arguments or starting these like conspiracy theories, which is really ironic because they are the top polluter in the world. They are 10 times more like they release 10 times more CO2 into the air than Japan does. Michelle Brown to be looking into what China has been doing over the last 4 days while they shifted all of this and started all these rumors and shifted all the attention to Japan. Um, so even if they did dump 460 tons of nuclear waste every day, like I said, like it's drinkable. 63 becquerels per liter. So it's not nuclear waste. It was water that was used to cool a nuclear power reactor. And so what happened was the Fukushima power reactor was damaged in the earthquake, which led to a tsunami. And we water to cool a nuclear reactor. The cooling system was malfunctioned, and the nuclear power plant melted down. And so this water needs to be disposed of. Um, the weird thing is that why would Japan, if it was so bad for the environment, why would the United Nations Atomic Energy Coalition has approved the dumping of it? So our allies have all signed off on it. Japan made it public. So if it was really, really bad, why would they have made it public? It's kind of like to me, it's like the things that aren't public are the things, that I don't know. That's just what I've heard about it. I'm not saying that that's right or you're wrong. I had a very, awesome argument with, I think it was something learning on Friday. Okay. Something, yeah, somebody on Friday. Um, yeah. So that was actually what the protest, I think, that they're talking about. You know, democracy is a bit healthier. That things are on the up and up, democratically speaking. Um, I think, uh, yes. So Fiji's ranked number 7 now. Yeah. So highest ranking in history for Fiji. Yeah. So that did they beat Australia? So France. Oh really? Oh wow. So what should we talk about next? Any questions from you guys? Anything that I can help you with? Do any of you guys run your own business in Fiji? You guys got any questions? Anything that I can help you with? I enjoy talking about business. We always talk about economics for some reason, even though I have no business talking about economics. It is the reason tourists are coming. So it's funny because I was talking to a lady who's actually very prominent in the tourism industry, and she was saying that like tourists to come to Fiji is a place for, what do they call them? What's the Australian word for rednecks? Basically, lower class people that come to vacation in Fiji, and other people go to like Southeast Asia and stuff like that, which is weird. Um, Bogan, Bogan is the word. We shall define Bogan right now as we're talking. Um, and I found that interesting because I thought, an uncouth or unsophisticated person regarded as being of low social status. Wow. So that's what she said. It's really common that, Fiji is more for the Bogan crowd, and I thought that was kind of offensive. Opened an organics learning center at Munredangi Farm in Wainunumbua last month. Will Walker reach out to them to offer insight and advice? Actually, we are friends with Karen and authors and directors of Munredangi Farms, and so you know what? I don't know if I have any advice to give them. They could probably give me all the advice, because up until this point, we have kept everything organic on our side. We haven't gone for any certification or anything, but yeah, we haven't used any pesticides on any of our farms just for that reason, because we would want the option to go organic one day, and we know that with the sandalwood that we are planting, that it might be worth more if it's organic one day. So we need to see, because up until this point, the sandalwood hasn't grown the best. So we need to see if it's a possibility for us to continue in the organic space, or if it's just better just to proceed. Um, so scared? Yeah, the dog's a vegetarian. Harley's a vegetarian. um, yeah. So, oh, that's funny. Yes, I am. So, Michelle Brown. Yeah, Bogan. Yeah, it's offensive, isn't it? Like uncouth, or like that's actually so mean. Unsophisticated person regarded as being of low social status. So, like, where do the complicated and like freaking wine and cheese drinkers go? For holidays. I don't like where I would come to Fiji. You kind of have to create your own holiday. Like it's a bit more of like an adventure, but like, where do the fancy people go? Europe, Bali, maybe. Maybe everybody goes to Bali because it's cheaper. But you think that like lower class people would go to the cheaper places because Fiji's not that cheap, or do us lower class people go to more expensive places because we're dumb and unsophisticated? Is that what we do? Michelle Brown, yes, I aim to study agriculture and own a farm. Can you tell me other struggles other than finance? Also, you can tell me how the export market works for farmers. Um, okay, yeah. So with farming, It's hard to go large scale quickly unless you find the right people to work with you, because it takes time and it takes patience and it takes like people who can like see what needs to be done to tell me what needs to be done so that I can so like if like if you actually want to do the farming yourself, then you're good. Like go get a farm, get some land and start planting. It's not hard. But if you wanted to do it at scale, like you got to have the right people. Or you can be like Grace Road, who doesn't have to pay their employees, and they get a bunch of free labor because they're a cult. But yeah, I would say that like yeah, finding the right people and then figuring out what to plant and when, and targeting and meeting with people who will actually buy and establishing those relationships is really important. Because like say for instance, like I have a guy in the Lambasa market. It's like I don't take much to him, but if I ever have stuff that I just want to get rid of, he'll take it. He'll take whatever. Like he'll take 5 tons of yam or take a bundle of bananas, and he'll just buy it and then he just sells it to other people. And so that's nice to have. Our next thing, I think, because we've got like 400 pumpkin plants that need to be planted next week. Barring all that goes well, like that's gonna be a lot of pumpkin, right? So we're probably gonna have to make a trip to Suva, make some contacts in the market over there and find out somebody who can just buy from us so that we can just send truckloads of pumpkin over. And when you start with one vegetable, then for sure, like you'll start with one vegetable, and then the people that you sell to will say, "Hey, do you have any of this? Any this?" And even like you know, for me, I started doing that, and then I just started. I was supplying to some people in Savishabu, and then they were asking me like, "Hey, do you have any? Can you get this and this?" And then all of a sudden, I had a list of like 10, 15, 20 different, you know, things from farms. And so I was just going around buying off of people on their farms and then planting it myself until I could just supply it from my own farm. I would buy it from other people. So it opens up really quickly. And that's the exciting thing about agriculture. But you just have to have the right people. Um, what inspired you to do agriculture? So that's kind of where the Walker brand started. Was we were sitting on the veranda talking about all the possibilities because we were just stunned at the vastness of our Matangali's land, and the 3,000 acres of which 200 or 300 acres only was leased. And I just felt like a really strong pull that like you see all the potential, therefore you must do something about it and be a good steward. And to not do anything was negligent, and I felt like I'd be held accountable. I felt like it was almost like a revelation that I had to do something with it, with the land. And so we've leased a couple hundred acres, and yeah, we're slowly making our way to starting to plant. And we've made mistakes along the way. Yeah, Karen Arthur are the best, Jessica. I love them. Very, very cool. Um, and so, yeah, and so that's where the Waka brand was birthed. Waka, the name, just because it's easy to say, not because it has anything to do with kava, but because you can say it all around the world, no matter where you are. And it's WAKA always says Waka. And so agriculture is, I think, at our heart. But we realize that to go large scale and to do it in the right way, where like we can build a processing plant and buy from other people and create products, requires building a brand so that people know about us. So that if we ever want to put our name on a package or start packaging our own stuff, like people will see it and they'll connect with it. So like if you go to Extra supermarket one day and you see like a Waka branded like a bag of frozen cassava, and then you go to the herb section and you see dania or like cilantro, and it's our Waka Farms brand on there. It's like, oh, all these, there's a few options, but like, I feel like I saw them like harvesting this on a vlog a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna buy this stuff. They gave us behind the scenes into their processing facility. You know what? I'm gonna buy this one, and so that's kind of what we're trying to do is basically build out like a marketing company that we can just kind of like plug businesses into, like I talked about last week. And so it's kind of like a roundabout way of doing it, instead of just like coming up with a product and then trying to figure out how to market it and get leads. We're like building up everybody. So everybody, on this live, on our Facebook, on our Instagram, you guys are all like warm leads, like you guys are all people who like know us. We feel like we know you. Um, and we're trying to bring you guys as much value as we can and as much content and like answer questions and have these conversations live. And then one day, hopefully, even if it's just like you buy a hat or yeah, you're in the supermarket and you see like, hey, there's some cilantro from these guys. I'll buy that one over the other ones because like I know that they believe in creating jobs um, and we've kind of like tracked with them from like when they came and when they started this journey, and so that's kind of the intention. But that's what inspired us to do agriculture. So we're doing other things, obviously, but the goal of that is to create employment opportunities, hopefully funnel that income back into the agriculture side. Um, have you ever tried exporting your yield? Yeah, no, sorry, no, I've never exported myself. I've sold to exporters though. They can be a pain in the butt sometimes. Your liquid compost is organic too. Yes, it is. Um, oh, fancy people go to the Maldives. Maldives or Maldives? I always say Maldives. Okay. Um, how many more years till you harvest your yassi? So we got yassi in like all over the range, but probably 15 years until we start harvesting any, and we got to plant still thousands. So we're just getting going here. We planted a bunch. We had a bunch coming up, and then Yasa hit and took care of all those seedlings basically and everything that we had out in the field. So we kind of had to like reanalyze, and we had a lot of capital, a lot of effort put into that, and so yeah, it was. We've been learning, and so we're paying a lot of dummy tax out here, so that hopefully you guys don't have to, so we can figure out this kind of stuff and teach it to you guys. So not everybody has to make these mistakes. Um, Love your content, brother. Vinit Maharaj. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. I knew that when you guys started, but you have inspired a lot of people. Man, thank you. That's cool. I appreciate that, dude. As a farmer, what is the biggest struggle you faced? Uh, as a farmer, I hmm, as a farmer, what is the biggest struggle I face? Probably this. Maybe not as a farmer. Maybe this is more personal. Right, my dad is from Fiji, right? This is our village. This is where I'm registered in the VKB. Um, and I've talked about this before. I don't want to like beat a dead horse, but um, maybe expecting to come back, and it very still runs really deep in me that like what I wanted to do, what I want to do make is build industry and employ my family members so that we don't have to leave and go overseas to build a life and then retire doing the things that we were doing while we were here. Um, and because I feel like Fiji and the lifestyle has something to offer people for the whole life. Um, and I think, maybe I was an idiot and I shouldn't have expected so much or whatever, but didn't really get as much support as I thought I would maybe from my family in Fiji. I didn't know it was so um stand up and fall down, and like they always say, like crabs in a bucket. Um, how do they say it? Durga Mindavo. Is that how you say it? Yeah, like yeah, yeah. Duringa Mindavo. Like stand up and sit down. Yeah, stand. Yeah, sit up and sit down. Yeah. Um, so maybe that's a bit more personal on a personal side, but I think with my intentions, like it was very much in my heart to come back and do this for my family. Because I felt like we could do something really special and be an example to all of Fiji. Um, but I don't feel that way so much anymore. Um, I don't think I'm brokenhearted over it. I think I'm reanalyzing, what's actually real and what's actually reality and the best way to go about it. I don't want to exhaust myself or like my wife and kids or my mom and dad, who are the other half of our business. Um, with some romantic idea of supporting my family, or our extended families. And I'm no hero. I don't need to be anybody's savior. But I guess that's just what I kind of like had in my heart. Just like this can I can do this. Like we can do that. And it's like, oh no, people don't want that. So yeah, maybe a bit more personal than agricultural. Brother, why don't you start teaching people about branding? I mean, the locals don't have any idea. Yeah, that will definitely 100%, man. I'm so passionate about branding. I mean, you guys see me wear this shirt almost every live. Um, and we got well, for me, a big shipment of gear coming for our Waka brand. From hats, t-shirts to umbrellas to Sulus and everything. And I think there's a lot of value in building a brand. I think a lot of companies in Fiji haven't had to brand because there hasn't been options for people, right? Um, but when we build a brand that is so well known that other big brands want to attach themselves to our brand, I think people maybe like start to take notice more of like the importance of like branding. Because if I want to what if I want to one day go out and open a grocery store, not that I ever do want to do that because I have no idea about that business, but like everybody will know who that grocery store belongs to. Everybody will know that logo on the top of the grocery store, right? So um I'm not afraid to teach people how to brand, and I think that would be something super exciting to do. I just think like I'm almost like I'm trying to do it so that people can see like, oh, this is important. Like, look at what they did in like such a short amount of time. Like, we should also like look into branding because like the big guys in Fiji do it. The Fiji Airways, the Digicells. Um, they do. They're big in branding. They have full marketing teams, but they're also international companies. But instead of just like teaching people like, hey, this is important, and I know what I'm talking about. It's like you know, I'd I'd rather like do it for myself, do it properly, and then like teach people, and then be like, hey, look, we obviously know what we're talking about. This is our brand, and everybody knows about it. So like I think we can help you out. So that's kind of the direction that we're going. Um, Starting a farm like yours, approximately how much capital does one need? This is from Chone. Um, a farm like mine, so it doesn't it doesn't it doesn't take any really like physical assets. Like you can pay people to bring the tractors. You can um, make deals like I've done with Office Boy with my view, and like make give people a cut. Like, hey, you do the work. I'll do the you do the tractor work. I'll do the physical work, and then we'll split it 50-50. Um, Creative ways to finance an agricultural operation. Um, but like if you want a tractor and you want to go get land, you might be looking at a few $1,000s a year for a lease, and say 50,000 or $60,000 for a tractor and all the implements, and then you're good to go. So if you just want to like get a big lease and a tractor and everything, maybe 100 grand, but you don't have to start like that. Nobody has to start like that. Um, I know a guy who owns, I think he's the director of Satish Motor Mart in Fiji. He used to go around, and Satish Motor Mart now like is they do cars, they're basically like a store that just brings in containers from China and just sells everything and anything, like from bicycles to plates to breakfast crackers to garbage bins to tools. Like it's like a one-stop shop for everything, and they have stores all over Suva and Lambasa and all over Fiji. He started by selling ice cream to guys cutting sugarcane in Vanuatu, in the hot season. He'd drive around to the sugar, like where the gangs were, and he would sell ice cream to them. And so, there's so many ways to create capital. and to start. And it doesn't just take, it doesn't have to be going to a bank, but there are a lot of grants out there. Like there's a lot of free money out there that you can apply for. But one thing I would definitely encourage everybody who wants to get into business or into farming is get a business license. Get a business license and open a bank account. Open a bank account, and then you can start applying for grants. And there's a lot of money out there to be had, especially if you're in the north, because there's a huge initiative to the Look North initiative. Um, I don't know why the Fijian culture is very, pulling the crabs back into the bucket type of deal. Very strange. Not sure where it came from. Um, so on that note, emote gaming with the W's. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for the dubs, bro. Um, we, um, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. What was that question? Not sure where it came from. So yeah, so take this with a grain of salt. I'm an idiot, but um, I think it didn't do culturally speaking in the past in Itoke culture. It didn't do the community any good for somebody to rise up and to get up ahead of everybody because of the chiefly system. Like the chief is the one who, you know, leads the way, right? The chief is the one who calls the shots. And so I think that's just kind of like a default thing that's maybe built into our brains that, it's it doesn't it doesn't do the community any good for one person to go and get ahead because um it just offsets the balance. Um so say I'll just give you guys a personal example. I was talking to I've talked to people about this before, but say for instance, like we have the farm, right? So we have tools like a postal digger for the fence, right? Chainsaw, brush cutter. There's more things, but just say those three things, right? Just say chainsaw and brush cutter. I mean, if we have a small village, and not many people have those things, right? So who do you think? Who do you think gets asked for their chainsaw and brush cutter a lot? And who do you think? Um, wait one moment. Man, we need to split this between three people. Cool. Only me and Corey just with this base. Um, so you can end up feeling pretty bitter because I never need to ask for a chainsaw and brush cutter because we invested in them for the farm, right? But I get asked a lot for my chainsaw and brush cutter. And so, like if I really need something, um, I'll save up and then I'll eventually go get it. Like I have a generator now. We've been here for 4 years and then have a generator, but we're just going off of solar and then it came, our batteries died in our solar system and we couldn't really afford to like get new batteries. It's like $1,000 a piece. And so we looked at generators. We got I borrowed my uncle's generator a couple times because we needed to do some things. And I'm like, you know what? I borrowed it twice. I don't want to ask him for it anymore. Let's stop. Let's take some of our savings. Let's go buy a generator. And that's what we did. And so now we have a generator. But that's not a possibility for a lot of people, because people haven't been taught how to save and stuff like that. So um, I then I don't have to ask for the generator anymore, right? But like with my chainsaw and brush cutter, for instance, like it'll keep getting asked for, keep getting asked for. Um, and if I don't watch my heart, I can become pretty bitter because like I never need to ask you for anything, but you always ask me for stuff. And I think a lot of people I've heard it, in lots of circles, like how do you deal with like the kere like syndrome in the village, And it's like, well, you know, I live in a house here and in Canada we pay property tax, we pay mortgage or rent. Um, we pay a lot for our phones. Just say for the house, right? You pay rent, expensive rent, and you pay property tax and utilities. I don't pay rent here. I don't pay property tax here. I don't pay for utilities. So the rent and maybe the mortgage is paid in other ways. Maybe I give my stuff away every once in a while. And so that's kind of the way I choose to look at it so that I don't get bitter. If that makes sense. Sorry, that was a long one. Um, There we go. Normally, I have a pickup truck, and my friends and family ask me to get it. Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. I know the vehicle's a hard one. Basically, now, like, um, so the vehicle thing, like, people always ask me to like take them to town, and I'm just straight up. Like, I'll just say like, no, it doesn't work for me right now, or I'm going in an hour, and I can take you. Um, and I'll take payment because, like I always say, like the tractor and the truck, they don't run on blood and sweat and blood. They run on diesel. And so that was what one of my old grandfathers said to me. He said, "You know, this tractor." When I went to help him get his tractor unstuck, he has an old Massey Ferguson, and he asked me, "How much does it cost?" We're like, "How much can I pay you?" And I said, "No, no, don't worry about it. Like, because one day I'm gonna get stuck, and then I'm gonna call you. So let's just like put it away. It'll come out in the wash. It's all good. We're good." Because I might need a favor one day too. And he's like, "No." And he just pointed at my gas tank. He said, "See, this tractor, that tractor, you don't put blood and sweat in this. This is diesel. This is money." He said, "Don't ever let anybody take it for free." And I was like, "Okay, okay, I get it." I thought that was a good analogy. Because a lot of things just require blood and sweat and tears in Fiji and just hard manual labor, but not tractors and trucks. Um, Here's a good question: if marijuana was legalized, would you plant it? And what are your thoughts on it? If marijuana was legalized, um, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if I would plant it because, like, I don't know anything about the industry. Um, I don't really have any problems with marijuana. I know people who use it in Canada. It's legal in Canada. I know people who use it in alternative to very addictive uh, drugs that you would go get at the doctor, and they get similar results, and they're not addicted. I know kids who use it, and it's a gateway drug into other drugs, and it's not a good thing. Um, so I don't know if I planted. I think you also have to be culturally sensitive of like where you are sometimes too. And so, um, yeah, I don't know actually, but I have nothing against people who use it um, or plant it where it's legal. It's not legal here right now. If it was legalized, it wouldn't bother me at all because then the government could start taxing it. It's the same thing I always talk about. Like, just create more taxation opportunities instead of increasing tax. So if marijuana was legalized, then it could be monitored, and then like what? How does it go? Whatever is measured gets managed, right? That's what they say. So if we're able to, people don't have to plant it underneath their Yangona, and it doesn't have to hide. We have to fly drones to like try to find this stuff. Like, if it's like, hey, you can register yourself to be a marijuana farmer, and you're allotted like 1,000 plants. It's like, hey, or whatever it is, like, and you have inspectors that go around and inspect these places and stores where it's sold with packing. It's then a taxable product. Like, tax it like you tax tobacco or liquor, right? Um, I think that's my thoughts on it. I'm gonna get roasted for that. Even the USA, new country opportunities are everything um, new, but a lot of communities here are still very same to, mentality, report each other to government, crabs in a bucket mindset. It's still very weird. Yeah. Um, no, since you guys came in, other people started too. Even I also started because I'm inspired by you. Well, man, appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much. Um, yeah, I hope that we can just keep doing this and just keep yeah, I'm not doing this to be like, oh, an inspirational dude. I mean, it's just our life. And it's like, hey, why not share it? I think everybody has a unique story. Like, we need, like, you should start vlogging. You have a phone probably, right? You're doing this live, right? You should start showing your stuff to the world. Start an Instagram, start a Facebook. Because like, you don't need a lot of followers. And like, we have almost a couple 100,000 on Facebook, 80,000 on Instagram. That's nothing compared to some of the big influencers. Like, we're nothing. We're nothing. We're a big deal in Fiji, and we're nothing. So like, we're not. Like you should do it because there's somebody out there who identifies with your story, and you could inspire somebody as well, right? So, um, just the recording stuff will take a bit of time. Um, what are some other side hustles you're looking into? So actually, and thank you for reminding me, Twee. Um, we just realized that there was an opportunity for this, and so we haven't marketed it all yet, but we're we have the ability to do, and we have done translate. You guys know of anybody who needs like documents translated from English to Fijian or English to Hindi? We've started to set that all up, and we're working with some different organizations doing some translation work for them. I think everybody's looking for people who can actually like respond to an email and pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, uh, my apologies for the delay. We don't have that quotation ready, but can you give me until 2 p.m. and I'll get to the quotation to you." That kind of stuff goes a long ways, and just something that is not found in Fiji. So, translation services are something that we are offering. So, whether that is Fijian to English, or Hindi to English, or vice versa, English to Fijian and Hindi, just let us know, or refer us to somebody who might need that. Um, so true. You don't realize seed of bitterness can start growing in your mind because of Kirikera. Need to. That is what's holding Itaukei people back. Need to change the mindset if there's any business prospects. The Kirikera system will come to an end one day. I hate it, especially when you have money. Yeah, and that's the thing. It becomes hard. Um, and I've even heard people say it about me, like, "Oh, he's an Indian. He's like an Indian," because Indians are, I guess, like more savvy. Um, Indians might say no, I guess. Um, Business savvy, I mean, and they might say no. So I mean, I don't find it like insulting, because the thing is, like, the people who want to say something about you right now, they're the same people that are going to be there with their hands out when you make it, um, and then stabbing you in the back anyway. So, like, don't do it for you. Don't do it for them. Do it for you, and bring everybody along for the ride. Um, so he'll be a great politician one day, boss. No way. Hard pass on to the politician thing. Um, kind out. Love you lots. Love you too, Dad. Um, yeah, hemp. I would 100% plant. We need to legalize hemp for sure. That is a huge industry, and if sugarcane grows in Fiji, hemp will grow in Fiji, 100%. What's your advice on quitting the 9 to 5 job and going into farming business? I wouldn't do it. I would keep your 9 to 5 job and then start with an acre. Start with an acre, keep your 9 to 5, bust your balls, sweat off, sweat your butt off, and see if you can do an acre. See if you can find a market. I think that was, one of the things that we did. I can't speak to like just quitting my job and just going and becoming an entrepreneur, without like knowing what I was getting into. Like, I did a post. Go look back at a post on Facebook from like a few days ago. It's just a picture. It's a screen capture of a bunch of comments, and I kind of just like quickly like list out our story. And in that, like, I was working a 9 to 5. Stephanie was waitressing. She quit her waitressing. Sure, she kept waitressing because she waitressed at night, and then she was cleaning during the day for a lady. And she's like, "I can do this. I can do this better." And so she started handing out cards around our city, offering free cleanings. Once that was going a little bit, we said, we give this thing a year. If it gets going, great. It got up, started going, and then I quit my job, and joined that business, kind of like in the background doing admin, and like systems and processing, and yeah, writing all the SOPs and stuff like that. And so I wouldn't recommend just quitting your job and going for it. I'd recommend doing something as a side hustle, and then turning it into your full time thing, turn it into your full time gig. Um, Give a man a fish. Um, he eats once. Teach him how to fish. He will eat for the rest of life. Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, Chane, don't quit your 9 to 5. Just try doing a little bit on the side. You're gonna have to hustle hard. You're gonna have to, yeah, really, really do a lot of work. Um, why can't you? Why you can't manage What you can't manage, you lose. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, Prime Minister, but sorry, has a nice ring to it. Can you imagine? There's no way, dude. Who's that? Normally, no way, dude. Get out of here, man. No freaking way. Talofa brother from Samoa. Samoan farmer. Hey man, how's it going? Um, yeah. What do you farm? What do you farm? Can Google Translate get Fijian, please? Right? Might be a while though. Might be a while. Um, yeah, so oh yeah, side hustle. Yeah, so that is the translation services. Yeah, that's something that um people need and we're gonna offer. And so like I said, we haven't started marketing it yet. But it's something that we are going to start doing and we are doing. If a man, Carl, if a man owns a small parcel of land, like a lease of something, use the title to get a business loan. First, look for what's in demand, like chickens or meat from cows, and supply. Yeah, exactly. So I know the TLTB can be a hard thing to kind of tackle, but it requires patience. So start all this processes while you have your 9 to 5. Keep the 9 to 5 and get all this going, get everything running. Um, and the good thing about keeping your 9 to 5 is that you have a way to pay employees. You can make sacrifices and give up some of your wage to pay other people to do the job. And the good thing about that is that you do not become an operator of that business. And that might sound weird, but what a lot of people do is they quit their job and they go and create a job. So operational when you're not around, you just created a job for yourself. A business is something that you can walk away from and your staff can run, and then you get to zoom out and you do the you know, you get to look at it from 10,000 feet and direct it and give it vision and tell it, tell the people, um, tell your management where you want it to go. And so I think a lot of people go into business as operators and they just create for themselves a job that they can never leave. Because what you realize very quickly when you go into business in that way is that instead of having one boss and a 9 to 5, you have, if you have 100 clients, then you have 100 bosses and you have a 9 to 9 because you can't sleep. So every single client, when you're an operator, is your boss. That's just how it goes. You just have a bunch of them and they're not treating you nicely, you know? Some of our mostly Taro, bro. Only started Kava not too long ago. Absolutely agree with you. I'm keeping my 9 to 5, especially after harvesting. When I'm not getting money from the farm. My 9 to 5 covers me. Yeah, exactly. And then like other opportunities will open up along the way as well, right? Once you start building up the capital, um, even simple things like you buy a tractor or something like that, and then that tractor is able to work on other people's farms, and because of you know because you've gone into the agriculture side, you're like now doing things that like aren't actually just planting. Like you have assets that can also make you money, right? So um, this is the content young people need to see the future in agriculture. I attended market Mars Brothers High School, and out of the 400 boys in our lot, only 9 of us really wanted to study agriculture. Hmm. Is the pine industry good money? Do you think it's better than Yassi? No, no way. So um, I think like if you plant pine, so yeah, the result you can get like 25 times more money. It's a very more long-term thing, but it's like 20 to 25 times more return if you plant Yassi. Bigger risk though, because you have these trees sitting in the ground for a long, long time. They don't have the structural, root system like pine does, so there's a lot more risk um, with the Yassi. So have a good night, babe. I'm going to bed. Great live. Oh, that's Stephanie, I guess. I hope. Steph, I think. Yeah, who's calling me babe? What the heck? um, so one thing I heard today, and maybe I'll share with you guys before we kind of sign off here. One of the very valuable things that I learned today was if you guys have a business or you're thinking of starting a business, um, stop trying to, when you're looking at a problem, Stop trying to come up with logical solutions. All right. So, and come up with psychological solutions. So, for instance, maybe you guys don't even care about this, but I'm going to share this with you because I was like mind blown today. Okay. I was reading or listening to Alex Hormozzi's book, and he was saying, so how do I apply this to myself? Okay. I have a coffee shop, right? So, if I want to get more customers to, I just want to increase cash flow, right? Increase revenues. Um, I can lower my coffee prices and get more people to buy my coffee, right? That would be a logical solution to trying to get more people to buy coffee. That is a logical solution. A psychological solution to the problem of not having people buy coffee would be to um, create a lot more value through your branding and making people believe that your coffee is actually worth a lot more than you charge. So you can either raise the price or therefore, put it in people's mind that what you have, whatever that thing is, for me in this case, example we're using is coffee. So so people would perceive our coffee to be a good deal and therefore come and buy it. So when you get into the pricing game and just like lowering your prices, there is no bottom and there's no end. And eventually you'll put yourself out of business. So there's logical solutions to problems, but then there's psychological solutions. So try to think of like any problems in your business and come up with psychological solutions. If you got questions or you want to chat or go back and forth, just email me at advice@Waka Farms, and when I have time, I can take a look at it. Um, Overall, agriculture and farming are vital for global food security, economic growth, and sustainable development. They play a crucial role in addressing challenges such as population growth. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, um, at the end of the day, everybody needs to eat, and the people who plant the things to eat are the farmers. So, it's a pretty what's difficult about Fiji and Samoa for Samoan farmer, Tonga, and these Pacific Island nations is that we're in the middle of nowhere. We're on a rock in the middle of the Pacific, so logistics is very difficult. But building the relationships with the suppliers, with exporters, with the people who get it to the supermarkets is very key. And I'm hoping doing like here today, I'm building repertoire with you guys. It's because there's a few farmers on there. So maybe you guys can supply to me one day. And through doing this, I'm also building my brand for the purchasers, for the people who will come and buy from me, like extra, like New World RB Patels, stuff like that, or the exporters, right? So they see us doing this, you see us doing this, and then we all get to, create more industry because we're kind of doing this together, right? Um, John has tire experience from his Cal Tire days. Yes, I do. Would you consider? Oh, that's where. I see. Normally, would you consider getting back into the automotive business in Fiji? No, because uh, I right now like the skilled labor thing is a big issue. Um, like anybody who has talent seems to just end up getting hired to go overseas, and so that becomes a big problem when you train your people to do jobs that are very, industry specific and require a lot of skill. That becomes a very difficult, thing to manage. And so I've never seen a very successful, and they are out there, but when I look at automotive shops and like not dealerships, right? Not the Fords or the Chevys or the Toyota dealerships, like there's not a lot of like big flashy, many different locations of private automotive shops, which makes me believe that there must not be a lot of money and in that business. And all the shops that I worked in, the owners were the operators and they had jobs. So they were mechanics who left a job because they're like, geez, like I get paid 40 or $30 or $40 an hour to do this work. The business charges like, the dealership charges like $150 just to open the door, like $150 an hour. I get paid 40 of that. If I go open my own business, like from 150 to, from 40 to 150, like I can be making like extra $90 an hour. And then it's not like that at all because you got to pay rent, You got to buy all the special tools. You got to have all the tools. You got to have you pay for like a website, your G Suite, like your Google Suite, like all your email addresses. Um, it just it's a lot more work than I think people realize. And so for that reason, I would never get into the automotive industry. The people you do see are successful, independent of dealerships and stuff, are like the quick oil change places in Canada and the US, like Mr. Lube, like the Cal Tires specialize in tires. They are, they have that is a very, very cool company. But they do a lot more than just like putting tires on passenger cars. They're very involved in the mining industry and the actual manufacturing of rubber and the recycling and retreading of tires. So that's a very complex business as well. Um, Supply and demand is what you're looking for. Supply what's in demand and wait all week for profit. Yeah, pretty much. Spot on with issue, brother. Marketing the produce is hard because of logistics, but also another issue with us in Samoa is sustaining the demand because people don't see agriculture as profitable. Well, maybe one day, you know, we'll make the contacts overseas. We'll get some containers coming out here. We'll run the containers through Samoa. We'll pick up your Dalo, your Taro, and we'll keep it going because there's a lot of guys in New Zealand, Australia, up in the States and Canada that need that stuff. I have an uncle who, takes stuff up there all the time, or brings stuff to Fiji, and they order Dalo or Taro on that side. And when the shipment comes in, like they'll have a full container, like 5 tons, 10 tons of Taro, and it's already sold before it gets there. So there is a lot of opportunity in that. Do you also do hydroponics farming? No, I don't, because I don't know anything about it. I applied for a grant that was available for people who wanted to get into it, but I didn't get it. I applied for 6 grants actually, like 2 years ago during COVID, 6 or 7 from agriculture. Didn't get one. Other people around me got them, but I think people look at me and maybe they just assume that I don't need grant money, but I could definitely use it, and I would put it to very good use, and it would be seen by everybody. So, anyways, guys, we are going to be launching our media company very soon. So that's going to be photography and videography. We're going to be specializing, like our target market is those of you who have family or those of you who live overseas who actually want like a reliable, we want reliable communication and people who can keep their promises and delivery times with photography and videography jobs, whether that's for funerals or weddings or birthdays or any sort of functions. We're going to be your people here. And we're also doing translation as well. So if you guys know of anybody, any universities or anything that need articles translated from Fijian to English, you just let us know. And we're opening that up as well. Is there a bigger picture for the Walker Business Market or supermarket or something? So the Fresh brand that we're doing fresh tea and coffee under is going to be everything in the food restaurant kind of industry. So think of the Fresh logo followed by anything, like we have fresh tea and coffee. It could be fresh anything, fresh herbs, fresh supermarkets, fresh whatever. So the reason that we're doing that is so that we can build a company using the Walker brand. But because the Walker brand is so personal to us, we will one day, slowly step away from it, like a long time into the future. But at the moment, if I want to build a company that we could exit, that we could put a lot of value into, and then somebody could come along and purchase it, and then we could step out of it. And so the Fresh brand would allow us to do that. So we're building that brand so that one day we could step away from that because we set it up well with enough, you know, systems and processes so that it runs itself, so that it could be exited from. You guys in need of video editors? Why, I suppose we always are. We might be more so in the near future, so you can definitely hit us up. I will give you an email again that you can message me on. And hit me at employment at wakafarms.com and send me some of your work if you're Who's that? Willow Usuramo. Willow Usuramo. Yeah. If you got anything, yeah, it's similar to Amazon Fresh. We are always looking for video editors, and we'll be also offering short video editing and marketing services, full blown marketing services for businesses. So fresh now, and we'll be doing that for businesses around Fiji, the Pacific, and all over the world. So there's a lot of a lot of businesses that need to step up their social media game, and so we'll be coming on board with people to help them to script and to write short form content and film it and then edit it for them and deliver it to them so that they can be posting every day on social media, because attention is the new oil, and those who don't have it will lose. So if you're a business person, you know of a business person who wants to get into social media or up their game, you know how we do, you know how we post, and you know how it's been, and you know where the Waka brand's at after 3 years. So you guys let us know if you guys got any connections, but we'll be marketing this real hard in the next coming months. Just waiting for Steph to come home, and we're going to get after it. So thank you guys so much. Hit me up. What's your name? Willow. Hit me up. In the meantime, this has been a blast. My name is Jonathan. This was on the mat in the house instead of outside. And I'll catch you guys on Friday at 4:30. Peace. Appreciate you, Norm. Mother.
Normal.
Mother, Norm.